I'll start out. Perfect. Okay, so let's come to our mats here. Get comfortable. Slide down a little bit with your knees down to the ground, to the mat. The way you're looking for it, you pretty much just want the bottom part, like the fleshy part of your butt, to be on that pillow or cushion or whatever you're using. And then let's bring your hands to your knees with your palms facing down for some extra grounding today. Close your eyes here gently. Soft bend in your elbows. Relax those shoulders down. See if you can soften your face. Maybe let the corners of your mouth slightly lift up. And then gently start leaning back with your upper body. Aligning your head over your heart over your pelvis. Going to arrive in the body. See if you can deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. And then with your next inhale, bring your hands to heart center, pushing those palms against each other. Let your head drop down towards your hands, chin to your chest, feeling the lengthening in the back of your neck. And then with your inhale, lift your head, let your hands come down to your sides. Start walking your hands out nice and wide. So you're kind of like this pyramid with your fingertips on the ground. And then we're gonna slow down the breathing, like slowing it down to, let's call it an extreme. You're gonna use your inhale to start raising your arms up all the way up over your head, but you're going to go super slow. So you're slowing down and lengthening that inhale, tapping your fingers together over your head, and then use your exhale to bring those hands back down, going just as slow. Inhale back up. Tapping your fingers over your head. Exhale back down. Do this one more time. Inhale up. Exhale back down. And then continue with your breath. Bring your left hand to your left knee And then bring your right hand over to your left knee as well on the top of your left hand. And then use your inhale to kind of draw this big wave over your head all the way to the right and the back. And then your exhale to bring that head down behind you on the ground. Inhale to bring that arm back up. Exhale to bring it all the way back down to that left knee. And then we're going to continue moving this way. Inhale, lift it all the way up towards the right. Exhale, bring it down towards the back. Inhale, back up. Exhale down. And then maybe start letting your gaze follow your hand. All the way to the back. And all the way back to the front. Do this one more time. And then slowly bring your right hand to your right knee. Bring that left hand on top of your right hand. We're going to do the other side. Going to use your inhale to reach your arm up and then kind of move over to the left. And then your exhale to bring that hand down behind you on the ground. Inhale, lift your arm back up. Exhale down to that right hand. Continue. And then maybe start letting your gaze follow your hand. Let's do one more. And then bring everything back down. And we're gonna move into our alternate nostril breathing. I think that all of us know how it works, but just for a quick reminder, left hand is coming into Chin Mudra. Right hand is coming into Vishnu Mudra with those fingers up high. And then that right hand perfectly fits underneath your nose. I'm gonna see if this one wants to go outside. Okay, you don't have time to think about this. Perfect, there we go. Sorry, you guys. Okay, we will come back to our breathing. Gonna do our usual 5-count inhale, 18 counts to hold, and 8-count exhale. You can bring that left hand down to your left knee, right hand below your nose. Close your eyes here gently, and then bring your right thumb to your right nostril and start inhaling through your left nostril. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Close both nostrils, hold your breath. Slowly exhale right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6, on 7, on 8. Inhale right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Close and retain. Slowly exhale, lift. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6, on 7, on 8. Inhale, lift. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Close and retain. Slowly exhale, right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6, on 7, on 8. Last round, inhale, right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Close and retain. Slowly exhale, left. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6, on 7, on 8. Inhale, left. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6. Last retention. And slowly exhale, right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6, on 7, on 8. Let that right hand come back down to your right knee. Keeping your eyes closed, just feel in your body here. Observe any shifts or changes. Take a little mental inventory. How are you doing today? How's the mood? How are the feelings? Just be here with yourself for a moment. If you have anything you want to dedicate your practice to or you want to focus on during the practice, it's a good time to remind yourself of that focus, of that intention. And then gently blink open your eyes. Remove your pillow or whatever you're sitting on, bring it out to the side, and make your way onto all fours. Bringing those wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, pushing your feet down into the mat. With your inhale, drop your belly, let your gaze go up. With your exhale, pull that navel in, round your upper back, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then keep moving with your own breath here. You're welcome to speed it up. Keep it nice and slow. Maybe slow it down even more. If there's any other movement that feels good to you, you're welcome to do that as well. Maybe some side to side moves, maybe rolls from the front to the back, or rolls from side to side. So whatever feels good. This is always a good time to close your eyes and really just turn inwards and do what feels good. It helps with turning off the brain. Closing your eyes kind of makes you not focus so much on the aesthetics of it. Take another 2 breaths here to just move and be. And then coming back to center. Extend your right leg out to the back, keeping your toes on the ground, pushing your right heel back. That left foot is pushing into the mat. You're really trying to even push your shin into the mat. This will gently help you with lifting up that left hip. And then with your inhale, lift your left arm out to the front. Left thumb is pointing up. Gaze goes slightly forward onto the ground, kind of the top of the mat. And then use your exhale to lift that right leg up. Toes are pointing down to 6 o'clock, so your hip stays nice and level. Navel is pulling inwards, building some strength and building some heat here. With your next exhale, bring your elbow and knee together into a little crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Let's do this 3 more times. Going with your breath. And then bring everything back in one more time. Bring that left hand to your right leg and see if you can push and pull that leg into your belly. It might feel weird if you've never done it before, and that's okay here. You're just pulling that leg into your belly, into your chest. And then let everything come down. Bring that left hand back down to the ground. Extend your left leg out to the back, pointing that left heel towards the back. Feeling a nice stretch in the back of your left leg. Right foot is pushing in. See if you can really push it all the way in, so even the shin is pushing into the mat. And then with your inhale, lift your right arm out to the front. Right thumb is pointing up. And with your exhale, lift that left leg. Toes are pointing down to 6 o'clock. Navel is pulling in towards your lower spine. Make sure that left shoulder is gently pushing down. And then with your next exhale, bring your knee and elbow together into a little crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Let's do this 3 more times. Really crunching it all the way in. Sounds like you're rounding your upper back. And then bring it in 1 more time. Hug that left leg in with your right arm. So you're pushing it into your belly. And slowly release everything down. Coming back into your tabletop. Maybe take a breath here. And extend your right leg out to the back again with your toes pointing down, hips staying level. Pushing nicely into both hands, pushing your shoulders down. Left foot is pushing into the mat. And then slowly start turning your toes over to 3 o'clock, so out to the right. Opening that hip up to the right. And then slowly turn them back down to 6 o'clock, leveling your hip down to the ground. And then open it up to the right again. Make sure you're still pushing into both hands. Turn back down to 6 o'clock. And then just keep moving nice and slow between the two. Just getting into the hips, lubricating the joints a little bit here. If there's any cracking or popping, that's all good. It's also a nice way to kind of familiarize yourself when it comes to what it feels like to have the hip level to the ground compared to having it open up to the sides. And then next time your toes are pointing down, slowly bring that right leg back down. Extend the left leg out to the back, toes are pointing down to 6 o'clock. Right foot is pushing into the ground. And then slowly turn your left toes out to the left to 9 o'clock, opening that left hip. And then bring them back down to 6 o'clock. Back to 9 o'clock. And back down. And just keep moving nice and slow. Make sure you're still pushing into both hands equally. We don't want to shift too far to the right here. And the next time your toes are pointing down, slowly bring that leg all the way back in. Bring your knees out, mat width apart. Bring the big toes together. And then slowly let your butt move down towards your heels. Walk your arms out in front of you. Let that forehead come down to the mat. If your forehead cannot get to the mat, you can always make a pillow with your hands, or maybe even use your pillow or blanket you're using in the beginning to rest your head on. And then see if you can really apply that directional breathing that we talked about last week. Breathing into your lower belly, and with your exhale, letting the breath come all the way out through your chest. From your belly, you can maybe even expand your breath into your lower back. And then slowly come back onto all fours. Bring those knees in closer again. Step your right foot out to the back. Step your left foot out to the back, coming into a high plank. Remember, you want the butt at the height of your shoulders, so no butts up in the air, no butt sagging down. Nice, strong in the middle. Let the crown of your head reach forward. I'm gonna be here for 3 more breaths. If this gets too much, you can always bring your knees down, maybe lift your heels for some extra fun. Wherever you are, be there fully. And then with your next exhale, from wherever you are, make your way into your down dog. Pushing each knuckle of every finger into the mat. Shoulders are nice and wide. Gaze goes to your toes. And then start walking your dog out, bending one knee and then the other. Bringing a nice stretch into the back of your legs, into your hamstrings. I'm gonna be here for about 6 more breaths. So you have time to settle in and find your groove. Maybe take a little inventory of how the body feels. Always good to check in and be aware. And then with your next inhale, come into stillness, come up high onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees slightly. And then taking teeny steps, walk your feet all the way to the front, coming up onto your fingertips towards the end to make this happen. And then with your inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, come all the way up. Raise your arms over your head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, raise your arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Raise your arms over your head. Interlace your fingers here. Turn your palms up so your palms are pushing up towards the sky. Tuck your tail under, draw your belly in. So you're making sure you're safe in your lower back. Maybe trying to bring your arms behind your ears. And then with your exhale, release your hands. Let them come all the way down to your sides. I'm gonna face you guys. So arms are nicely on your sides. With your inhale, raise your right arm halfway up. Exhale, flip your palm. Inhale, bring your arm to your head. Exhale, start bending over towards the left, pushing your hips out gently to the right. Maybe letting your gaze go up towards your right hand or just down towards your left foot. Make sure you're not applying too much pressure onto that left hand, so you should be able to nicely lift that up. Exhale, come all the way back up. Let that right hand come down slowly. There might be some tingling in your arm. Inhale, lift that left arm halfway up. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, bring your arm towards your head. Exhale, start bending to the right, gently pushing your hips out to the left. They really don't have to move far. Looking for that nice stretch in your left side here. You can let that right hand slide down that right leg to help you come down deeper into that side bend. Gaze can go down, up to the horizon or up towards your left hand. Wherever you are, check in with your breath. Make sure you're taking those nice long inhales, complete exhales. exhale, come all the way back up. Let that left arm come down slowly. Beautiful. And then step your feet about hip width apart. Toes are gently and slightly pointing outwards, so not a lot, just a little bit. Not completely 11 and 1 o'clock, like in the middle of 11 and 12, and the middle of 12 and 1. Just a little bit of an out movement. Gently bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, and then walk your hands towards your lower back with your fingers pointing out to the sides. So you're trying to bring your wrists as close together as possible. It's okay if they are nowhere close. And then bend your knees a little bit deeper, bending those knees over your toes. Tuck your tail under here. Gaze goes towards your belly button, letting your belly button move inwards. And then with your exhale, start pushing your hips out gently to the front, coming into a little back bend. So we're not going deep. Let that gaze still go to your belly button. This will keep you safe. Keep breathing nicely here. This is one of those ones where it's easy to forget to have that long breath. Exhale, come back up. Maybe loosen it out. We're gonna do this one more time. So bringing your hands back into your hips first, and then slowly walking them towards the back. Fingers pointing out to the sides, wrists moving towards each other. Bend those knees over your toes. So you have a nice wide stance, knees are pointing outward slightly. Gaze goes to your belly button, and then slowly start pushing your hips out to the front. Going to a point where you're still comfortable. If you do want to go deeper, you can let your gaze go up towards the sky. Don't let it drop all the way down. We want to keep control here. If there's a little bit of shaking in your belly, that's okay, as long as you still feel like you have control and you can come out of it. With your next exhale, come all the way back up, keeping those hands on your hips, bend your knees, and come down into a forward fold. You can keep your hands on your hips, or maybe interlace your fingers behind your back, stretching your arms over your head. So you're letting gravity help you to come down deeper here. Letting that gaze go through your legs to the wall behind you. With every exhale, sinking a little bit closer down towards your legs. And then if your hands are over your head, gently release your fingers and then resist that urge to just let them drop down fast. Instead, let them come down nice and slow. If your hands are on your hips, let them come down from there. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Raise your arms over your head. Exhale, hands through heart center, all the way back down. You're in this nice wide stance, but see if you can turn your toes a little bit inward so you have your feet parallel, your toes are pointing forward. And then from here, see if you can bend your knees slightly and bring your palms underneath your feet from the front. So your toes are on your wrists. And then gently start rocking back and forth from your heels to your toes, applying some pressure on your fingers, your palms, your wrists, letting your head hang down softly. Then settling somewhere in the middle so you're not having more pressure in the heel or the toes, but it's kind of balanced. And then start pushing your toes and feet into your hands. And at the same time, start pushing your hands into your feet. So you have that push-pull movement. This way, increasing the stretch really into the back of your legs and even the outer rib cages and shoulder blades. Belly is moving down towards your legs even here. You're always trying to create more space with your belly. And then slowly release your hands. Keep your right hand on the mat, bringing it down in the middle of the mat so it's underneath your heart. Bend your left knee slightly, and then with your inhale, lift your right arm up towards the sky, maybe letting your gaze follow your right hand. If that doesn't feel good, don't do it. If you want to try and straighten your left leg, you can do so, but make sure you only go to the point where your left hand is still fully pushing into the mat. So you're not coming up onto your fingertips or your fingers. The palm is pushing down. Exhale, bring your right hand down, put it where your left hand was, bend your right knee, and then with your inhale, lift your left arm up high towards the sky, maybe letting your gaze follow. Pushing that right hand down. Maybe straightening your right leg just a little bit or fully, depending on where you're at, how the body is feeling today. And then with your next inhale, lengthen, and with your exhale, bring that left hand back down. Hands are on the ground. And then from here, step your right foot to the back of the mat. So you have that nice wide stance, which means your left foot is further out. So both hands can be on the inside of your left foot. That right heel stays lifted, right knee stays lifted. And you're just letting your hips drop down towards the ground. So we're just kind of trying to open up the hips again, finding a big stretch in your left leg, big stretch in your right IT band. And then move that left foot slightly towards the center so you can frame that left foot with your hands. And then bring your right foot down at an angle in the back. And with your inhale, open up into a warrior two. You have that nice wide stance here. Sink deep into your left knee. That left knee is pointing out to the left. Shoulders are relaxing down. See if you can maybe wiggle your toes here, making sure there is some weight in your heels. Inhale, flip your left palm. Exhale, reverse your warrior, bringing your left arm over your head, your right hand to your back leg, maintaining that nice stance. And then slowly straighten your front leg, push your hips back, and let that left hand come down, moving into a triangle pose. That left hand can come anywhere between that knee and the ankle. Right hand is on your hip. Start pushing that right hip and your right shoulder back. Gaze goes down to your left foot. And then maybe staying here or letting your right arm go up towards the sky. If you're letting your arm go up, you have the option to let your gaze follow that right hand. See if you can tuck in your rib cage here, so you're not letting that rib cage pop out to the front. You're tugging it in slightly. And then slowly bring both hands down, bend your left knee. Sink deep here one more time, letting those hips drop down. And then step that right foot to the front of the mat. Come back into that wide stance. Hands are on the ground. Step your left foot to the back of the mat. You can take a couple steps or slide it out in the back. Hands are on the inside of the right foot. And then really melt yourself down here, bending deep in that right knee. The right knee can pop out to the side, that's okay. Hips are dropping down towards the ground. And then slowly inch your right foot back, kind of more towards the center of the mat, so you can frame it with your hands. Bring that left foot down at an angle in the back. And with your inhale, open up into your warrior two, spreading those arms out nice and wide. Right knees pointing out to the side. Shoulders are relaxing down, letting your gaze go towards your right hand. Make sure that left hip is nicely pushing back. Inhale, flip your right palm. Exhale, reverse. Left arm can come to that back leg. You're maintaining that nice deep stance, so you're not coming out, not coming up higher. You're sinking nice and low. Almost like you're trying to keep your chest facing the ceiling here. And then slowly straighten your front leg, push your hips back, and then with your exhale, let that right hand come down towards your right leg. Left hand comes to your left hip, pushing your left shoulder and hip back. Gaze goes down to your right foot just for now. Remember that if that doesn't feel good, you can always take a different gaze. And then from here, you can either stay here with your hand on your hip or your lower back, or you can let that left arm move up towards the sky. From here, you can also let your gaze follow your left hand, or maybe just to the middle, meaning going to the horizon. Wherever you want to be with this. And slowly bring both hands down, bend your right knee, lift that left heel, sink deep one more time with those hips, deep bend in your right knee. And then pushing both hands into the mat. Step your right foot to the back of the mat, coming into a high plank. You can bring your knees down here first. What we will do is we will be lowering down to the belly. So choose your weapon, either coming down to your knees or lowering down all at once. If you're lowering down all at once, you're trying to go as slow as you can, and you're trying to have the whole body touch the mat at the same time. Bring your hands to your rib cage. Tops of the feet are pushing down. And with your inhale, coming into a little cobra back bend. You can come into a baby cobra. You can come into swings. You can come up higher if that feels good for your body right now. Letting your gaze go slightly forward and then down, about a foot in front of the mat. Still breathing here. Exhale, come back down. And then we'll do a little cobra flow. You're going to use your inhale to come up, your exhale to come down. You're going to go at your own pace here. So you can really make it nice and slow. You can make it some more fluent if that is calling your name. So again, making this your practice. And then coming back down onto your belly, tuck your toes under, and then push those hips all the way back into a child's pose. Maybe coming into a classic child's pose, this time with your knees close together, feet together, letting your arms rest on your sides so your hands are kind of where your heels or your toes are. You can let your head come down towards the ground. Maybe using your pillow if your head can't touch the ground. Breathing into your lower back here. And then slowly sit up, tuck your toes under, and then sit down on your heels. For some of us, this might be pretty intense for the feet and the heels and the tops of the feet. So it's always okay to untuck your toes here. If you're comfortable, let your hands come all the way up into your hip creases. Maybe use those hands to pull your pinky toes out if they feel stuck. And then with your inhale, let your arms come up over your head. Palms are facing forward. And we're going to move into our little wrist strengthener. So bringing those fingers down towards the fleshy part of the palm. Going for that clapping sound. See if you can speed it up here. It's one of the most important things you can do, strengthening of the wrists. The wrists are such a small body part and we apply so much pressure on it all the time. So it's really important to stretch and strengthen all the ankles and wrists. Let's speed it up one more time. And then while keeping that movement going, start letting your hands come down to your sides. Perfect. Shake those hands out. And then sit down on the mat. Extend your legs out in front of you. As usual, if you know forward folds are challenging for you, this is a good time to sit on your pillow. So just slightly elevating your butt up in your forward fold. Then bring your hands to heart center. Start really pushing your heels into the ground, flexing your feet, and you're really grounding your legs down as well. It's almost like somebody's trying to lift them up, but you're pushing them down and not letting them. And then with your inhale, let your hands guide behind your ears all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, start folding forward. Keeping yourself long. Maybe you're landing at your feet, maybe you're landing at your ankles or your shins or your knees. Wherever you land, just let those hands rest here. Letting your belly and chest move down towards your legs. Head is hanging down softly. You're trying to keep your upper body as straight as possible so you're not rounding. You can bend your elbows to help you come down further. We're going to be here for a nice 5 breaths. So see if you can really find some surrendering in the pose. Find some more depth. And then with your next exhale, bring your arms all the way back up towards the sky. And then bring those hands down to your sides. And then behind, on the ground, I'm going to point this way, on the ground behind your hips, with your fingers pointing towards your legs. If this feels really uncomfortable for your wrists, you can always turn your fingers out so they are facing out to the sides. But try it out first, see how it feels. And then with 2 options here, you can either come into a reverse tabletop, or you can come into a reverse plank. Whichever one you're choosing, you're focusing on lifting those hips up nice and high, letting your gaze go to your belly button. If you're in the tabletop, imagine your knees and shins are both facing forward, so you're not flaring out. See if you can still breathe into your belly here. Seeing it lift with your inhale and go down with your exhale. Exhale, slowly come all the way back down. Lower yourself down onto the mat, hug your knees in for a moment. And then bring your feet down onto the ground, keeping your knees bent. See if you can bring your feet into the point where your fingertips can touch your heels. If that doesn't work, that's totally okay. As usual, you're just moving into that direction. And then see if you can tuck your tail under here, which means your lower back will be filling out the mat. So as usual, if I were to walk around and try to bring my hand underneath your lower back, there would be 0 space for me to fit through. And then gently here, lift your head off the ground, so you're looking towards your knees. Lift your arms so they're hovering just above the ground. And then with your exhale, let that right hand move towards your right foot. Come back to center and let your left hand move towards your left foot. We're doing those little taps from side to side while making sure your lower back stays nicely glued to the ground. I like using my exhale for the crunch, the inhale to come back. That's the 2 more on each side. And then make your way back down, keeping that lower back glued to the ground. Bring your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers, but release your thumb. So your thumb is on your neck, your fingers are holding the back of your skull. So you're kind of having a little hammock for the head. So your neck should be feeling nice and supported. Your thumbs can even give your neck a little massage here. You can press some nice trigger points. Feels actually really good. And then with that tail tucked under, start pushing into your feet and your shoulders. Start lifting your hips up, coming into a little bridge pose. Imagine there is a block in between your knees, and you want to make sure the block stays in that spot. Squeezing your glutes, lift your hips up a little bit higher. Let your gaze go up towards the ceiling. And then with your next exhale, slowly come back down. Release your hands. Bring both knees in, hug them in tightly. And then bring your left foot down to the ground. Extend your right leg up towards the sky. Let your hands move up that right leg, holding on anywhere between your knee and your ankle. Grounding your head on the mat and your shoulders are pushing down. And then just start pulling that leg towards your head. I like imagining I'm pulling my toes towards that spot behind my head on the ground. You can bend your elbows here, helping you to push down. And then invitation to stay here, or you can extend that left leg out and let it float above the ground. Choose where you want to be. And then slowly bring that right knee into your chest. We're all going to extend the left leg out straight and onto the ground. Hug that right knee in, and let's move into a reclined spinal twist. Let that right arm go out to the right, and then guide your right knee all the way over towards the left. Letting your gaze go up or over to the right. Make sure that right shoulder stays nicely glued to the ground. And then slowly come back to center. Bring that left leg in. Bring your right foot down. Extend your left leg up towards the sky. And then slowly walk those hands up that leg. And again, start pulling that foot towards your head or the spot behind your head, bending your elbows. Trying to bring your shoulders down towards the ground. And then maybe extending that right leg, floating it above the mat, or keeping that bent position. Yogi's choice. And then we will all come down, bringing your left leg into your chest, right leg out long on the mat. And we're going to do our spinal twist on the other side. So left arm goes out to the left leg goes over to the right. Maybe letting that gaze go over towards your left hand. Check onto your left shoulder here. And then come back to center. Hug your legs in tightly. And then extend one leg out. Extend the other leg out. Bring your arms to your sides. Palms are facing up. If your eyes are not closed yet, gently close your eyes here. Sinking into our favorite pose, sinking into Shavasana, finding some rest, letting the practice do its magic. And then start wiggling your fingers and your toes. Let the movement spread out into your arms and your legs. Bring your feet together. Bring your arms over your head on the ground, giving yourself a big, big stretch. And then let go. Bring your knees into the chest. Hug them in tightly, giving yourself a big, big, big loving hug. And then let go of your knees and slowly roll onto your right side, coming into a little fetal pose, pulling your knees into your chest. Eyes are still closed, feeling safe, feeling protected. And then slowly, with your eyes closed, make your way back into a seated position. Bringing your hands back to heart center when you get up there. Feeling the warmth of your body. Letting your head drop down towards your hands, chin towards your chest. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be kind. Namaste. Thanks for joining me today. Have a